People don't talk about all the great things white people have accomplished. 97% of inventions were made by Europeans. And there's actually a website when they say like the traffic light or peanut butter was invented by black people. There's like a website that like fact checks these black inventions, and you look deeper into it and usually they're all from white people that they might have added something or it was like completely stolen. So why are we not taught about that?
Wow, there's a site debunking black inventions?
Yeah, I forgot the name of it
That's nuts.
right now, but they didn't even invent peanut butter. So I don't think they've invented anything actually.
Can you name one black invention?
In terms of nouns, like literal things such as the light bulb or electricity or the internet, I can't say I can give you one. In terms of adjectives, I could give you loud, I could give you obnoxious, I could give you incarcerated. You see what I'm saying?
Do you have any more? Maybe actions?
Overweight. The average black woman in America is obese. Overweight, there we go.
180 pounds, yeah. 180 pounds.
Oh, wow.
On average.
Oh my God, I thought it was 160. That was, 160 alone is obese.
Can you name one black invention?
I can actually name 3. Twerking, KFC, and being really loud.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Yeah.
Can you do like any better? Like something that was useful to society?
No.
Why is that?
Because that's the only thing I know that was invented by black people, peanut butter. That's it.
Why do you think there's like literally almost nothing else?
I don't know.
Does it have to do with them being black?
Huh?
Does it have to do with them being black? That they're not able to invent as much stuff?
Possibly.
Possibly?
Yeah.
Like, people think life started in Africa, right? And Africa is one of the most resourceful continent. So why couldn't they invent something before the Arabs had to bring them the wheel?
I don't know.
But why are people scared to say that? Like, obviously people have their strengths and weaknesses. Like, we can acknowledge that black people, you know, they sprint the fastest. There's most of the NBA is black. Why can't we say?
It's just like that, for example, like with like physicality aspects, like it just matters on like the genetics, you know? And they usually say because, you know, with slavery, they had like them procreate with the strongest and fastest, whatever. But it just comes down to like your genetics. I don't know.
Okay, so in case you can't tell, I'm a white guy of European descent, and I'm very proud of my heritage. I'm very proud of my ancestors. I had ancestors that sailed to North America on the Susan Constant back in the early 1600s, and I talk about all of this very openly on my channel. But it seems like every time I talk about the massive successes and contributions of white people to the world, but more specifically to America, I have someone coming in trying to discredit that and give credit to someone else. Now, primarily, this looks like someone trying to claim that instead of whites building the United States, it was actually slaves. And look, I'm sure we can all agree that slaves contributed to the success of the economy in the South. That does not mean that they built America. I mean, trying to say that slaves built the United States is like trying to say that a janitor at Walmart is responsible for the success of the company. Like, bro, what? Do you think these people were the brains behind the operation? And just FYI, European immigrants built way more cities and infrastructures than slaves ever did.
So what you just heard right there from those clips that I've just played for you is not history. That is programming. Now, and whenever you hear this kind of ignorant people speak, you need to understand this thing essentially. There are 2 categories of these people, and they are both a product of white supremacy. So there are those that tell the story, create the story, and then there are those, and those are the most dangerous ones. And then the second category, there are those that consume and carry forward and speak about it ignorantly, the story. Those that don't know the truth, but they're the loudest. And those are the ones we just heard from at the beginning of this video. Now, what I'm trying to say here is it comes from 2 places. Those who shape the narrative and those who inherit the narrative that has been shaped. Some know the truth. The most dangerous ones, they know the truth, but they still rewrite it anyway to their favor. And those that just consume and repeat that false story as if it is a fact. And that's how you get confidence. People speaking confidently on the street without knowledge. Now let's deal with the truth. Let's expose this. Let's dismantle this narrative in this video, shall we?
Where was the first ambulance service created in the U.S.? That's right, Pittsburgh. Right here in Pennsylvania. First ambulance service, 1967, it was Freedom House. And it was pioneered in the black community. All communities were being failed. You called emergency services, it was basically the police, they'd come by, they'd throw you in the back of a police cruiser, take you to the emergency room, no care. And what these 25 black men and women did, who were pioneers, the first paramedics in the United States, what they did was the first EKG in the field, the first intubation, the first shot, electrodefibrillation of the heart. That was done here in Pennsylvania by these EMS workers at Freedom House. And the reason why it was black workers is because as bad as things were everywhere else, it was worse in the black community. It was because these people, when they called the police, they weren't always greeted with, let's get you to the hospital, greeted with skepticism, greeted with a lot of doubt and suspicion. This was the community that needed it the most. But this was the model for the rest of the nation. And I think it's important as we celebrate our 250th anniversary that we don't whitewash, we don't push this aside, we don't shrink from our history, we talk about it, we learn from it.
Do y'all remember when Trump said, they taking all the black jobs? I bet you he wasn't thinking about this black job. Let me tell you something. Let's talk about one important black job that many of you have today, being a paramedic. Let's get into it.
We must put America first. This is a nation that invented the light bulb, the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip, the smartphone, the GPS, the integrated circuit, and even the internet. Basically, we invented everything. What is left? We invented everything.
This right here is one of the whitest things that Trump could have ever done. He's being a white man. This is what a white man does. He comes, he conquers, and takes credit. They always been doing. And then you know what blacks thought was the best option? They made it to where it was easier for them to take credit for our work. You wanna know how? Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King made it to where there's no more segregation, but now there's integration. And now we come together. And now it's just easier for them. Now they ain't gotta go to a whole different country on the other side of the world to take credit for someone else's work. Because all the people that's doing all the amazing work, it's inside of their country, under their rules, following their laws, under their shelter. It's easier. Now they're right next to us. The enemies are living next door. Now, you got people who think that white people invented the computer chips. White people invented the telephone. White people invented everything, even though it was actually black.
Number 100, 3-light traffic light. The 3-light traffic signal we see today has greatly improved our safety on the roads, but very few people know that the traffic signal was inspired by the invention of a black person. The person behind this brilliant invention was Garrett Morgan, an African-American businessman and inventor. He lived in Cleveland, Ohio, and was the first black person in the city to own a car. In 1922, he witnessed an accident between a horse-drawn carriage and a car, which inspired him to find a way to prevent such accidents in the future. At that time, police officers were responsible for directing traffic, but it was difficult for drivers to see them, and their signals were limited to just stop and go. This made it hard for drivers to navigate through traffic. So Morgan came up with a new idea. He invented a traffic signal that had folding arms with signs that said stop and go. The signal would be placed on a post above the road, making it easier for drivers to see. He also added a third position where the signal could be raised halfway, indicating caution. This was like the modern yellow signal that we see today. To operate the signal, a traffic attendant would turn a crank, raising the post and showing the appropriate sign. If necessary, the attendant could stop all lanes by showing the stop sign. Morgan's invention was patented in 1923, and he sold the rights to General Electric for $40,000. Number 99, home security system. The 1960s were one of the most dangerous times in American history, and for a black woman whose husband was always working at odd hours, staying alone in her home at night left Marie Van Britten Brown feeling pretty vulnerable. Unfortunately, their neighborhood had a high crime rate, and Marie was concerned about the slow response time of the police. In response to this, Marie came up with the first home security system when she was 40 years old. Initially, their invention consisted of 4 small windows, a movable camera, TV screens, and microphones. The cameras could move from one window to another. These cameras were connected to TV screens inside Marie's home. By using the TV screens, Marie could see who was at her door without actually having to be there physically or open the door. The microphones were also important as they allowed Marie to communicate with the person outside without having to face them directly or open the door. Marie Van Britten Brown's invention of the home security system has had a significant impact on the security systems we have today. Her innovative idea paved the way for further developments and improvements in security systems that are still used today. Number 98, folding bed. In 1885, African-American inventor Sarah Good would create one of the most famous inventions designed for maximum comfort. Her patented folding bed would inspire the modern-day Murphy bed. Being a furniture store owner, she saw a business opportunity and made an audacious move. When Sarah Good heard about the problem of limited space in Chicago apartments, she wanted to help. She invented a bed that could fold up and be hidden, similar to the Murphy bed we know today. It was like a cabinet that could turn into a desk, with spaces for writing supplies. Sarah's goal was to make the bed easy to lift and keep in place when folded, and to provide extra support in the middle when unfolded. In 1885, Sarah Good became one of the first African-American women to get a patent for her invention of the folding bed. Number 97, protective mailbox. In October 27, 1891, Philip B. Downing was granted a patent that changed the mail system forever. That patent was for a street letterbox, essentially the mailbox we see all around the country, where you can post a letter any time of day. In the early 1800s, U.S. citizens posted and received their mail via a post office. People would need to travel far distances to visit their local post office for their mailing needs, so there was a need for a better, more convenient solution. Downing designed the mailbox that we all recognize today, a metal box with 4 legs. This invention changed the need to go to the post office in order to mail a letter. It included a hinged door that kept bad weather such as rain and snow from damaging the mail, and also a safety feature making the mail secure until it is picked up by postal employees. The Downing letterbox patent became the basis of the letterbox we have today. Number 96, blood banks. It's impossible to determine how many hundreds of thousands of people would have lost their lives without the contributions of African-American inventor Dr. Charles Drew. This physician, researcher, and surgeon revolutionized the understanding of blood plasma, leading to the invention of blood banks. During World War II, there was a great need for blood transfusions due to the large number of casualties, but there were challenges in transporting and preserving blood for long periods. Recognizing this problem, Drew focused his research on finding a solution. He developed a method to store and preserve plasma, which is a vital component of blood, separately from whole blood. This allowed plasma to be stored for longer periods without losing its life-saving properties. He also came up with the idea of blood banking, which involves collecting, testing, and storing blood so it can be used for transfusions when needed. Drew's work was a game changer. It not only helped save many lives during the war, but also paved the way for advancements in blood transfusion techniques. His ideas and innovations laid the foundation for the modern blood banking system that we rely on today. Number 95, refrigerated trucks. In the world of modern transportation and logistics, refrigerated trucks play a vital role in ensuring the safe and efficient delivery of perishable goods. Behind this groundbreaking invention stands an extraordinary mind, that of Frederick McKinley Jones, an African-American inventor whose innovative spirit transformed the way we transport and preserve temperature-sensitive items. In the late 1930s, Jones was approached by Joseph A. Numero, an entrepreneur in the cinema industry. Numero needed a way to transport perishable items like food and medicine without them spoiling during long trips. Recognizing Jones's skills, Numero asked for his help. Jones took on the challenge and came up with an ingenious solution, a portable cooling system that could be added to existing trucks. This transformed ordinary trucks into refrigerated vehicles, allowing perishable goods to be transported over long distances while keeping them fresh. Jones's invention had a significant impact on various industries, including food, pharmaceuticals, and healthcare. It made global trade easier by enabling the transportation of perishable goods to faraway markets. Number 94, automatic elevator doors. On the 11th of October, 1887, a highly skilled barber, inventor, and businessman named Alexander Miles received a patent for a technology that would revolutionize the way we use high-rise buildings forever. His invention? Automatic elevator doors. Though a seemingly small milestone in the history of technology, his innovative design made the use of elevators infinitely easier and safer, earning him a spot in the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Whatever the reason, Alexander had identified just how dangerous the elevators of the 19th century were. As they had to be opened manually, either by an operator or the passengers themselves, people were often at risk of plummeting down the shaft with horrific injury. Miles's design included a flexible belt attached to the elevator cage, with drums positioned on it to indicate if the elevator had reached a floor. When this occurred, the doors would automatically open and close by means of levers and rollers. The influence of his elevator patent is still seen in modern designs, and the automatic opening and closing of elevator and elevator shaft doors have become a standard feature. Number 93. Super Soaker Summer just wouldn't be the same without Lonnie Johnson's invention. Johnson was an aerospace engineer for NASA who happened to invent the popular children's toy. In 1982, Air Force and NASA engineer Lonnie Johnson conceived of the idea of a pressurized water gun after shooting a powerful stream of water in his bathroom while performing experiments for a new type of refrigeration system. This experimentation, which resulted in Johnson shooting a stream of water across his bathroom into the tub, led directly to the development of the power drencher, the precursor to the Super Soaker. Number 92. Tissue holder. Mary Beatrice Davidson Kenner, along with her sister, was a wizard of making your trip to the bathroom as pleasant as possible. They both invented a toilet tissue holder in the 1970s, which they share a patent on. This invention was created with the purpose of eliminating the problem of grasping the free end of a toilet paper roll, which happens when the free end of the paper is positioned tightly against the remainder of the roll. This invention helps by always keeping the toilet paper in an accessible position, making it more convenient to get a roll of paper right when you need it. Number 91. Peanut butter. Generally, when people think of famous African American inventors, one of the first names that springs to mind is George Washington Carver. Perhaps most famously, Carver's inventions included the discovery of over 300 different uses for peanuts, such as making cooking oil, axle grease, and printer's ink. Carver was the first African American student accepted to Iowa State and quickly became a campus leader, and excelling in botany and horticulture. After finishing his education, George Washington Carver was convinced by Booker T. Washington to serve as the Director of Agriculture at the upstart Tuskegee Institute. Though the job offered very little in terms of pay, Carver took the position and ran with it. It was there he devised his method of crop rotation. Through the system, crops flourished, but a large surplus of peanuts also developed. This led George Washington Carver to develop alternate uses for the peanut. Today, everyone and their dog can thank George Washington Carver for the invention of peanut butter. Number 90. Laser phaco. Imagine living in a world ranging from hazy, clouded vision to that of total darkness for 30 years. Before 1985, that was the plight of those with cataracts who did not want to risk surgery with a mechanical grinder. As a noted ophthalmologist and famous black inventor, Dr. Patricia Bath dedicated her life to the treatment and prevention of visual impairments. Her personal belief that everyone has the right to sight led to her invention in 1985 of a specialized tool and procedure for the removal of cataracts. With the laser phaco probe and procedure, Dr. Bath increased the accuracy and results of cataract surgery, which had previously been performed manually with a mechanical grinder. With the laser phaco probe invention and the development of the procedure for its use, Dr. Bath helped restore the sight of several people who had been blinded by cataracts for up to 30 years. Number 89. Automatic gear shift. Richard Spikes was a well-known inventor whose automatic transmission for the car gears and other automotive-related inventions transformed the transportation industry. Spikes invented the gear shift to help keep the gears constant for different speeds, which also helps people to drive up hills. In December 1932, Spikes received a patent for an automatic gear shift device based on automatic transmission for automobiles and other motor vehicles. Number 88. Dustpan. The first dustpan was invented in 1858 by American inventor T. McNeil, for which he was granted a United States patent. However, it was Lloyd P. Ray's improvement that gave us the dustpan we all recognize today. The African-American inventor made improvements to the dustpan by the addition of a short wooden handle and a collection plate made of metal, and this invention was patented in 1897. The addition of a metal plate and a short wooden handle allowed sweepers to collect trash without getting their hands dirty. Due to the convenience it provided, Ray's invention quickly became a household staple. Number 87. Gold tee golf was totally a different sport before Dr. George Grant came along. Prior to the invention of the wooden tee at the turn of the 19th century, golfers made tees out of sand. Courses would supply each hole with a box of wet sand from which the golfer would fashion a raised mound using either his hands or a cone-shaped mold. In 1899, Boston dentist Dr. George Grant, frustrated with this tedious and messy process, invented a wooden golf tee. However, it wasn't until William Lowell, another dentist, invented the ready tee in the early 1920s that using a wooden tee became common practice. Number 86. Lawn sprinkler African-American inventor Joseph H. Smith improved upon the lawn sprinkler by patenting the first rotary head lawn sprinkler in 1897 that sprayed water in two directions. In 1898, he was granted a second patent for modifications and improvements to his original design. His invention eliminated the need to drag a hose over the lawn and reposition it periodically to ensure a relatively even watering of the lawn. Number 85. Modern toilet. Thanks to Thomas Elkins, your bathroom breaks are as comfortable as ever. While Elkins didn't outright invent the modern toilet, his improvements to the chamber commode would inspire the mechanics of the modern toilet. His patented design came with several amenities, including a bureau, mirror, book rack, washstand, table, easy chair, and earth closet or chamber stool. Over the years, the toilet would go through several modifications to become the porcelain throne it is today. Number 84. Ringing mop. In 1893, Thomas W. Stewart would devise an invention that would make cleaning less of a back-breaking labor. The ringing mop we know today was inspired by his invention, which provided a way to care for the slate, stone, or marble floors that were a feature of the homes of the aristocracy, and later the middle classes. Thanks to his invention of a clamping device that could wring water out of the mop by using a lever, floor cleaning was not nearly the chore it once was. Number 83. Reversible stroller. Modern-day reversible strollers and baby carriages are the work of African-American inventor W.H. Richardson. Although the first baby carriage was invented in 1733 by William Kent for the Duke of Devonshire, its lavish design made it harder for everyday individuals to have access to them. However, Richardson patented a new type of baby carriage on June 18, 1889, that was more efficient and affordable. The design featured wheels that could turn 360 degrees in a smaller turning radius. The bassinet was also designed so it could face out or in towards the parent. Over a century later, his invention is still a popular choice among parents. Number 82. Biscuit cutter. By 1863, A.P. Ashbourne worked as a caterer, having amassed a respected following in Pennsylvania. He catered weddings and buffets of the wealthy elite in Philadelphia, and was selected as one of a handful of local caterers for the 1863 Emancipation celebration held in the city. While attending this event, Ashbourne noticed that the biscuits were simply hand-patted and lacked any real form. He began a decade-long process to create a device, a spring-loaded biscuit cutter, that would guarantee a uniform shape and size. His patented cutter had a board to load and unload biscuits easily. At the time, his invention brought convenience and accuracy to the flour-based food product. Number 81. Aeroplane propelling. While the Wright brothers designed and constructed the world's first practical fixed-pitch propeller, it was black inventors, among many others, that would improve the mechanics to be what it is today. In 1920, African-American inventor James Sloan Adams was granted a patent for a new and improved propelling means for airplanes, which utilized the stored-up energy of a spring to the fullest advantage for driving the airplane forward. This rounds up the part 1 of our series on the 100 black inventions that changed the world. From lawn sprinklers, home security systems, to traffic light signals, black individuals have continuously defied the odds and left an indelible mark on our world. It is time to celebrate their triumphs and acknowledge their countless inventions that have revolutionized our society. In the next part of this series, we will share even more audacious inventions.
Many black inventors face challenges in reaping the financial benefits of their inventions due to systemic racial discrimination that hindered their access to resources, capital, and patents. Large corporations or government agencies often reap the profits of these black inventions. George Washington Carver discovered over 300 uses for peanuts, including peanut butter. His greatest contribution was in agriculture innovation, especially rotation techniques for cotton farmers. However, Carver did not patent most of his discoveries, and he worked primarily to help farmers. He made very little money from his inventions, while larger white-owned farms reaped the financial benefit of his discoveries, creating generational wealth for their families because they had the capital to take advantage of his discoveries. Next up, we have Garrett Morgan. He invented the traffic signal, the red light, green light, yellow light, slow down, and the gas mask. Morgan sold his patent for the traffic signal to the General Electric Company. So they reaped the financial benefits from the mass production and adoption of the invention, creating what? More generational wealth for white families instead of black ones. Morgan's gas mask was used in World War I, and he started his own business making and selling it, but still benefiting little financially because bigger companies came in and mass produced them. Next up, we have Lewis Latimer. He invented the carbon filament for light bulbs and the process for manufacturing them, which improved the lifespan of electric light bulbs. Although Latimer made important contribution to Thomas Edison's light bulb, he did not personally benefit from the invention. He worked as a patent draftsman and engineer for Edison and other companies, but much of the financial gain went to the companies that used his patents because he didn't have the resources or capital to use them himself and build what? Generational wealth. Next, Granville T. Woods invented the multiplex telegraph, an early version of wireless communication that allowed multiple messages to be sent over the same wire. A black man, okay? You texting? Black man invented that. Woods received patents for several of his inventions, but often struggled with patent infringement cases because they came after him for his inventions. Many of his inventions were used by larger companies, such as General Electric, which exploited his ideas without giving him significant financial compensation, and he didn't have the money to fight back. Next, we have Marie Van Britten Brown, who invented the home security system, including a camera, monitor, and remote control door lock. Brown patented the invention in 1966, but her financial gains were limited. The patent was sold to a larger company that developed the home security industry further. Because why? Because they had more capital, more resources. As with many black inventors, she did not see substantial long-term financial rewards for her patent, for her inventions. So another opportunity for generational wealth lost. Denied by who? Anybody? Anybody got a guess? Right. Next we have Dr. Patricia Bath, who invented the laser phaco probe, an innovative technology that revolutionized eye surgery. While her invention significantly improved cataract treatment, she did not personally profit as much as she should have. The technology was widely adopted in the medical field, but much of the financial reward went to the medical institutions and companies that had the money and resources to implement the technology worldwide. I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down. Next, we have Otis Boykin. He invented the improved resistor used in electronic devices such as computers, guided missiles, and pacemakers. Boykin did patent his innovations, but he did not receive large-scale financial rewards. His work was incorporated into products by larger companies, which profited from the widespread use of his inventions, particularly in the electronics and defense sectors. Another lost opportunity for generational wealth for black families. Next up, we have John P. Parker, who made improvements to the industrialized furnace. Parker's contributions were significant in the industrial field, but like many black inventors, he did not fully benefit from the financial rewards. His work was used by larger companies, so once again, no generational wealth gained. That gain went to white-owned companies. Next up, we have Henry Sampson, who invented the gamma electric cell, a technology used in the development of portable power sources such as batteries. While Sampson did not receive a significant financial windfall from his invention, surprise, surprise, he was instrumental in the development of battery technology. However, much of the economic benefits went to corporations and the military that adopted this technology. So once again, no generational wealth gained for Black families. I hope you picked up the importance of building Black capital and resources so our future patents and trademark opportunities for generational wealth cannot so easily be stolen from us. I hope you also picked up on the fact that this type of information is not taught in our schools because they don't want our Black children to know what they're capable of by learning about these real-life Black inventors, these amazing Black examples. They also don't want their children to know about our Black contributions because then they would know where their family money really came from. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Knowledge is power, power to the people.
You know, people always try to talk about how, Black inventions were stolen, how Black inventors have never gotten the spotlight they deserved, how the world doesn't pay respect as much to Black inventions and Black history, how it's been erased, rewritten, and stolen. But then something that we don't actually highlight it the most is also the negative impact from an economical sense to this problem. And now look at that carefully. On one side, you had loud opinions. On the other side, we have either documented or undocumented contributions, inventions, ideas, and systems that were never supposed to disappear. And that's right there is the keyword. They didn't disappear. They were taken, rebranded, patented, and profited from by other people, because this isn't about just recognition alone. It's not just enough to recognize that this was done by Black people, this was done by Black people, such and such a Black person invented these innovations and inventions. It's not just about that, but it's also about wealth. You see, a lot of these inventions and innovations don't just shape our world today, they generate money. Real money, industries, opportunities, and generational wealth. But when the credit was then reassigned to those who stole it, or pattern were given, but the money did not follow the pattern, the wealth followed the new names, those that stole it, those that rewrite the story, those that retell the narrative, now get the benefit, monetary benefit, not the original creators. And that's a big problem. You can imagine how much generational wealth was lost through inventions that either never patented or were stolen and assigned to white people. How much Black wealth was lost in that process. Now, so what we're looking at here today is bigger than history. It is also an economic shift that has already happened. Families build on legacies of ideas that were never originally theirs, and they continue to benefit from that today. Wealth got transferred not through innovation, not that someone came to reinvent something better, but through control. And control of narrative, control of systems, control of ownership, literally stealing. And today, their children enjoy the wealth that they think their own parents, grandparents, or ancestors invented, fought for, innovated, without knowing that the real story is they stole this from other deserving, much more deserving owners of these, things. Now, the other side of this story is the communities that produced this brilliance, these inventions, these innovations, they were cut out of the reward. disconnected from the benefits, and left with the narrative that they contributed nothing. They did nothing to the world, that white people are the one who invented everything that civilized the world, And that's not coincidence, that is structure, that is system. And that's why it matters today, because the same people who inherited the wealth also inherited the story behind it. Polished version, clean version, one that says this was earned, without ever telling how, the story behind it. Their children need to know that such and such was by black inventions but stolen, or this was a black invention but black children deservedly, who should have gotten something from it, have gotten nothing from it. So exposing history isn't just about correcting the past, it's about revealing the foundation of the present today, because once you understand where things really came from, you start to question everything that's built on top of it. And you see, that's uncomfortable, but it's also necessary, because the truth is simple: black inventions and innovations have helped shape the modern world today. But the recognition, the reward, has been minimized or entirely not there, erased, hidden, or stolen, and redirected to other people that didn't deserve it. So when someone says that black people didn't invent anything, they are not just stating a false ideology, they are repeating an inheritance. That's an inherited narrative. And once you start questioning that inheritance, that narrative, that propaganda narrative, you don't just rewrite history, you actually are now exposing it. Yeah. So what do you think about this expose? What do you think about everything in this video? Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. You like this video? Give it a thumbs up. Share it with other people that deserve to see this, that the world that deserve to know this. And subscribe to the channel if it is your first time, and I'll really appreciate. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video.